going on, everybody? Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another So-So production. It is Monday, August the 16th, 2021. Here we are, kicking butt, taking names as per usual. Man, today you're going to be getting the episode a little bit later than expected, but we're here. A little bit late, but we're always here, baby. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. Hope you guys are having a great start to your weeks. And here we are, man. We're almost, we're halfway through August. It's almost September, man. Lady, we're getting there. Today we're gonna just, it's a story about a story. It's a story about a story, and I had planned things a little bit in my mind, and it did not go according to plan. And there's kind of a lesson in that, and that was actually, I was going into the plan with that notion in mind that sometimes you may plan a little plan and you might want to do something in a certain way, but you should be also flexible because certain things don't always flow as you plan, but you got to be flexible. That's what it is. So I'm just gonna keep being flexible. But I had in my mind, I thought, you know what, I'm like, let's spice it up. Let's start today off Monday, let's spice it up. Let's take the boys and the gals around the city, show them a little spot that we like to frequent. I like to frequent the waterfront sometimes, go by the water, have a nice walk, look at the scenery. There's, water's peaceful. I'm all about the peace and the love. I'm like, let me share a little bit of a scenic view with the folks out there. But it's, man, I got too much in my own way. But that's man, I'm like, I started walking from my place, right? From my place to downtown to the lake shore is roughly 10 to 12K. So first of all, I gotta admit, I wasn't anticipating with my equipment on my back for the 10 to 12K. Kind of like, I started the day off quite early, not gonna lie to you guys. I've been up since 6:30. Right now we're at 20 to 5. So it's been a long working day for me, but I've just, man, walked all the way downtown. I'd already gotten kind of a little bit tired, and the weather was nice when I just stepped out of my house. It was sunny, it was breezy, it was nice and beautiful. But by the time I got downtown, it started to get a little bit cloudy. Then I get near the water, and the winds are picking up. Now we got the gusty winds, dude. Some of it's eastbound, westbound, northbound, southbound. There's wind blowing it everywhere. It was a thing, man. It was a thing. And I start, I'm already out of my element. I'm already, I'm just like, go spice it up. Go try a little something different. Go be at a different spot. Oh, man. What a valuable lesson. It's just like, you prep for things, but also be prepared for the unexpected. But the unexpected just kept on happening, and it just didn't. It was too many things that happened. First of all, the wind's blowing. I got the tripods, like, it's already out the bag. It's being set up. I'm putting on the camera. I'm installing the camera on top of the tripod. Next thing you know, a gust of wind comes and blows my bag, and it hits the floor, and I go to pick it up, and I noticed somebody had spat on the ground rather, and it was orange and yellow, and it's just, I don't even know what it was, dude, but it landed on. I'm like, oh, please, let me have a napkin in my pocket. Please let me have a napkin from it. Reach into all the pockets. Zilch, nada, no napkin in sight. So now I'm just out there grabbing my bag and like looking kind of sad and just wiping away the residue, whatever that was. We're not even going to speculate what that was. Was it snot? Was it a little bit of that? I don't know. Who knows what it was? I'm not going to speculate, but it looked like an egg yolk, and it landed a bit on my bag, and I'm just wiping it away on grass, wiping it away here, there, everywhere. It's disgusting. I gotta wash that bag, actually. So that's already happening, and not to the greatest of starts. It could have been better. But I'm like, just roll with it, just go with it, just roll, shoot. And I go in there, start telling my story, start going about the sesh. We're doing an outdoor sesh. It's the wind just keeps on picking up. Now, when we're in the lake, it's quiet. You got a couple of gulls, you got a couple of sea eagles or seagulls just like chilling. But when the wind's picking up, they're a little bit more aware of these things. They pick it up. It's like a warning sign to them to either seek shelter or, dip down below, grab a little fishy, grab a little tuna, go munch somewhere safe so that if there's a storm coming, you can avoid it. But these seagulls get up all around me, all above me, and start making noises. Caw, caw. I don't know how to make a seagull noise, dude. That's more like a classic raven or a crow. Caw, caw. But it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good, 10, 12 of them start circling right above me as I'm doing the shoot, mocking me, looking at my things aren't going well. I'm like, yeah, you shut up, seagull. But I also love you, but like, it's not, it's not going well for you today. It's just talking, making noises, and it's just getting on my nerves, and like the camera's shaking everywhere, and I'm just like, my mind's on my bag. I'm like, with all the, everything going on, I can't afford to, be picking up any extra germs here and there. I'm just like taking it day by day, like you guys. I'm taking it day by day, taking it nice and slow. I'm like, you're gonna go out there, put an outdoor show for the nice folks, and it's gonna be an interactive show today. It's gonna be with the people, it's gonna be with the water, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice and sunny, no harsh winds, and next thing you know, sun's hiding behind the clouds over there, just, pussyfooting around, coming out, and like, doesn't want to shine on us for a little while. And it's getting cold now. I'm just, I'm not dressed properly. It's windy. My bag's gotten tainted. My bag's tainted, bruh. Not looking good. Seagulls are mocking me from above. And, I'm just like halfway through the video, and I'm just like, in my mind, I've already psyched myself out. I'm like, today it's just not going your way this afternoon. And it was what it was. And all of a sudden, this middle-aged lady's just, she's on her bike. She bikes on by, and I don't know what she was on. I don't even know if I heard her right, dude. I don't even know if I heard her right, but she seemed to be a little bit, a little bit out there. Let's just say that. I'm not judging you, but she was a little bit out there. She's yelling things as she's riding her bike. As she turns and, passes me and the equipment by, she yells something, and my ears picked it up as, we're all gonna die, and she just like goes off into the distance, and I'm just like in the middle of doing my little outdoor sesh for the peepsies, and I'm like, yeah, lady, of course, eventually everybody's gonna at one point drop. But it was just like, I got the seagulls, I got the bag with the egg yolk, I got this lady yelling, we're all gonna die. I'm like, what's today? When? Is it going down now? Should I be eating my last meal? Should I be, making arrangements? Do we even need to? It got me in a whole loop. And that's what it was, man. It's a story about a story. That's what happens sometimes. You get out there with the best intentions. You're like, man, I'm going to, and I hadn't planned too much ahead. Because, like, if you plan too much ahead, it doesn't go well. I've done that before. Fool me once. Well, might just happen again. But I planned a little bit, but not too much. But valuable lesson learned: don't walk 10 to 12k and then expect to have a productive shoot. Left me a little bit low on the energy level, and then you get the egg yolk on the backpack, the camera shaking, the lady yelling, we're all gonna die, and the seagulls just cawing over me. It just didn't. It was one of those days. It was one of those days. I thought it's gonna go smoother, but lesson learned. Man, I had to come back home just like, and in my mind I'm like, it's not as bad as you think. It's not as bad. You can still salvage it. You can still salvage a half an hour video. You can still salvage, and I start playing, and it's just like, oh, you can barely hear me talk because it's too much wind right by the water. Was not going well. Was not going well. So I hit the delete, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna leave my peepsies hanging, bro. You think I want to leave you hanging out here? I want to leave you hanging out here? I got you. It's Monday, August the 16th. We're almost halfway through August because we're past the 15th mark, okay? We're halfway through August. But if you think I'm going to leave you be on Monday, you're like, man, I was expecting the show to drop in the early hours of the morning. Sometimes that's the norm. But again, keep in mind, we're growing and we're snowballing and we're changing and modifying things as we go along on a daily basis. And that's all I can tell you, boys and girls. We're doing it on a daily. We're doing it on a daily, and we got to come in here and just, roll with the punches. Roll with the punches, baby. You think if I ever not show up for, that's the thing, I can't not. Like, I'm committed. You're wondering, if you're wondering how committed I am to this show and you guys, because you guys are my family and you guys are my gang, and we're doing a whole family gang sesh every week here. You think I want to leave the family and the gang? Bruh, lady, you got another thing or two coming. Your boys got you, and I know you got me. That's why I'm here. You know, this is my, who knows, maybe this is my fourth cup of coffee today. Is my, you know, is my heart beating out of my chest a little bit? Just a wee bit, but what's a little bit of an extra heartbeat? Am I right? Oh, God. Damn good coffee, though, I'll tell you that. Damn good coffee. So many things are happening. So many wonderful things are happening. It's just, today, so many wonderful things are happening in and around this world. And, you know, silly, nonsensical stuff's always going on as well. But like, if, you know, over the weekend, I think one of the biggest winners of 2021 now is, who won the biggest in 2021 thus far? Man, Taliban's murdering it. Yeah, Taliban's murdering it. You guys heard, it's all over the news. Oh, the Taliban's coming, Sharia law, masks for everyone, ladies' rights out the window. And that's what that is, silliness. But at the same time, could we expect anything different? I mean, like, strategically thinking and speaking, couldn't have gone any better for the clandestine community. You know what I'm talking about? If some clandestine or, like, you know, some secretive branch of the government who does, you know, secret activities behind the scenes, if they were planning stuff, man, it's great, it's fantastic, it's havoc, it's mayhem, it's chaos, and it's something that we can all, from, you know, from our safe havens, point to and be like, man, aren't we the lucky ones? And that's true, we are the lucky ones, thank God. But, you know, it sucks for people down there, because, yeah, things are going down. But again, strategically speaking, this is like the best thing you could wish for, because it's just enough chaos for you to be like, okay, we can just walk away from this and not have to worry about anybody, you know, being stable for some time in that region. So, you know, havoc here, havoc there, and then you retreat and you're like, let's just watch it, see what happens from afar. So many countries have been doing that for so long with, like, you know, that's what it is. That's how I've always noticed things to be. Whenever there's a country or a region, or even sometimes, you know, the whole continent of Africa, right? So many resources, so many goods and services that could be used to actually, like, you know, uplift Africa and African nations. But so many times people have gone there and, like, you know, different nation states gone there and try to do different things from their own purposes. And Afghanistan is one of those very, you know, it's resource rich country, but, you know, everybody's had their eye on it for quite some time. You know, back in the day was the Russians, you had the British, you had the Americans, and, like, that's the thing. Let's everybody work together, cooperate together to build a happier, healthier, more balanced society, globally speaking, that is. And yeah, man, the Schmalaban is back on and are murdering. Still trying to work on that. Taliban's murdering. They're killing it. Right? Because that's what they do. But again, we're just the optimists. We're the eternal optimists. I think that, you know, we went in there. We went in there a little bit quick. We did the put it in, pull it. We did the pull out method. We did the pull out method. Sometimes the pull out method, it works fantastic. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes you may find yourself later having to go back and, like, you know, be back in there again. But the thing is, like, you know, if you want to, that's the thing. If we want to be helping, let's go in there with speculating, shits and giggles. Of course, it's serious matters, but still, if you, like, it's been so long that, you know, American troops, Canadian troops, we've been in different countries doing different, helping, doing things to stabilize and all that goodness. But, like, 20 years has gone by. I've not yet seen a Starbucks or a McDonald's open up in the, you know, in those regions that have been targeted or helped. And it's just like, you know, let's get a couple of McD's, let's get a couple of Tim Hortons, you know, let's get a couple of these essential basics going on so that people could also do the things that they like to do. Because nobody likes, you know, I would assume nobody likes Sharia law, because that's just like the most hardcore, like, you know, extremist version of, like, Islam. That and Wahhabism. Wahhabism? Yeah. That's like It's our way or the heads off, everybody. That's their logo or slogan. It's our way or there's no really other way than their way. So that's, yeah, that's something to be thinking about, looking at, being aware of. Globally speaking, it's not concerning us here in the West or like, Western society. We're safe and sound. We're all good, unless, gosh, I don't even want to speculate. Let's not go there. But point being that this is actually fantastic, because like that's the thing. If you were, let's say you're a clandestine agency and your job is to protect notions of freedom, and you're like, well, we can't have freedom and democracy everywhere, but we can certainly fuck things up to a particular degree where it's shook up enough so that people don't have, enough resources, or, and you always need an us versus them. It's just good to have an us for, because like without either, none of them would exist, I think. Or we can evolve, and all become like sort of like one, but not in a homogenous way. Everybody should maintain their own sense of identity, but also work together. I don't know what I'm saying. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And if it doesn't, well, we'll try to make sense of it one day at a time together. That's what I'm trying to say, man. But I think, this is just like, do we pull out? Do we pull back in? Do we put it in, back out? What do we do? Well, it's it's a bit of a shit show going down in the Middle East and in certain regions, most of the regions. Not all the regions, most of the regions in the middle, most of the regions, who are we kidding, okay? But I'm optimistic we can definitely turn things around. Here in the home front, we need to focus here. We, as Canadians, we've got another election coming up. I believe it's going to be sometime in September. So, we got things to take care of here first, and then move forward, see what happens. But I don't know. If I'm being totally honest with you guys, and this is like, I've always been totally honest with you guys, this will be probably the first time that I'm gonna go out there and hopefully, or stay in, I don't know how it's gonna work, but I've never voted in my life. I've never voted. When I was younger, I was always too skeptical. I was always just not, it just didn't seem like, but now I've gone ahead and changed my perspective. I've grown, I've matured. So this time around, I will vote for somebody. But it's just like, now I'm at a point where I'm like, oh man, who am I going to vote for? Because so now I'm going to have to take the time to get to know the other party leaders for the Conservative Party, the NDPs, the Green Party, the Liberals, we already know what's up. And maybe there's a few other parties that I'm not aware of that I got to do a little bit of research on and learn a little bit, because it's voting season. Votes are going to be voting. I don't know why we're having an election right now, but I suppose it could be. That's the thing. We take every opportunity to better ourselves as individuals and as a nation, and that's the rhetoric that we want to push. So, and topics of discussion. What do I want to be? Since we're going to be having a election, things that I'd like to see discussed. Hopefully, it'll actually get discussed. Are any candidates out there right now ready to just like call this bad boy up and be like, it's a wrap? And I'm talking about Schmovid. Can we all just wrap up? Can we get a deadline? Can we get a set date and set it and forget it? Be like, okay, on this day, we're going to just, put away the masks. We've already had X amount of people go get vaccinated. We're all good. Let's get people back up and running. Is everybody too afraid, or, they don't want to, maybe it's not even fear. Maybe you just don't want to, I don't know what it is. Does anybody have a different opinion is what I'm trying to ask. Does anybody have a different opinion, or is it all going to be like, oh, we got to be fearful, more masks, fourth wave, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth? Are you all going to be going down that route? Because nobody's like been vocal. I've still not heard any party leaders come out and be like, okay, if I'm in, I like to hear certain phrases like, first we're going to do this thing, and after we're finished doing the first thing, we're going to take care of the second thing too, and when we're done taking care of the second thing, we'll go on and take care of those other things that need to be taken care of as well. I've still not heard any of those sorts of phrases, but I do want to be seeing you guys making a lot of these hand gestures whenever, we're going to fix things and come together. So I'm looking forward to those. it's exciting. It's exciting. Back when I was, back when I was in university, I was working at a social research institute for a little while, and I used to hold interviews with people, maybe sometimes half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour long on the phone, talking to different people, getting their opinions about different topics. One of the topics that I researched was the Canadian elections. At the time, that was the first time that Trudeau was running. And it was interesting to talk to people from Toronto, Ontario, all the other provinces, just to gather people's, where are you at? Where are you at, Canada? That's what I want to know. Where's everybody at right now? What are you guys thinking? Hopefully we'll get out there this week. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more with people. We'll see how it goes. We're going to keep it loosey-goosey, but nonetheless, we are having an election. Things are looking better. We're making progress little by little, but I do want to be seeing some decisions that are actually going to be impacting us in a positive manner. Like, when are we going to say goodbye to the masks? When are we going to put away this nonsense behind us and focus on the other things that need to be tackled, like affordable housing in the GTA, and all of Canada for that matter? Affordable housing. The rate of inflation's just, we always have inflation everywhere, and ours is not the worst, but it's inflation is like, it's like diabetes or something. It's that deadly but silent type of thing that'll catch on with you in like 5 to 10 years. Next thing you know, everything's inflated. And I'm like, well, what do we do with the inflation? Do we just, do we keep inflating? How big can it get? It can get pretty bad. It can get pretty bad, but that's the thing. We got to, buck stops here with us. We're the ones stopping the buck. And so yeah, I want to hear talks about, or rather not just, and please, no empty talks, no politician talks. Get out there and like talk normally, like normal people do. Okay? Don't go there addressing the people like you're not aware of what's going on. Okay? Get in there with a little bit of just blink a couple of times when you talk. Blink a couple of times. Let us know there's something in there. Let us know that there's still something in that shell. Okay? Take care of that. But come out there, talk about affordable housing, please, and what you plan on doing to accommodate everybody. Talk about what we're going to be doing with inflation and wages, because it's not been kept on par on both sides. Inflation keeps going up. Wages have been stagnant for many, many years, and even when the increases come in, it's just not good enough. So right now, if you're working, any job, it's very difficult to be able to get inside the housing market, and I truly believe everybody needs to get some sort of an equity in the housing market and in their city and their locality and their region and their province, and we're a piece of land so that they can claim their own, build an equity, build a safe haven for themselves, plan for themselves and their families. These are the things that we should be talking about. What are we doing about housing, dude? That's, so we got housing, we got inflation. Other topics that I'd like to see talked about, education. Education needs a lot of, there's far too many things that need to be tackled in education, but I did one thing. If we're going to talk about at least one thing, what are we going to do with the accumulating national student debt in Canada? It's outrageous. Universities and colleges cost way too much. I completely understand that things can't be free, but with the costs right now, it's again extremely unfair for the average person to go in there, come out with $40,000-$50,000 just for an undergrad. You're looking at upwards of $100,000 if you want to get a master's or a doctorate's program of any sort, and then you come out and then you're stuck with a huge bill for God knows how long, and you're probably going to be paying it off for 10, 20, 30 years sometimes. I had university professors back in the day when I was in university who they themselves were still paying off their student loans, which is just sad. Let's do something about that. Can we have a debt forgiveness for the students? Can we have some sort of a reduction that actually makes sense? A plan that actually makes sense? In terms of healthcare, I'd want to see more talks about healthcare and like access to, we definitely have a decent healthcare system, but I don't want it to go in the way of, I do see the patterns little by little. I'll hear or I'll read articles where nurses will come out and say that the pressures or the work atmospheres or the wages are not good enough, and that's why they're more inclined to step into the private sector rather than working in the public sector, which is kind of alarming. because you don't want to go down that path of privatized medicine, which will be the model that's going down in the US. And again, both have their benefits and downsides. The privatized medicine is always a little bit, some argue then say it's a little bit better because, you know, competition, private facilities, best of the best, all that jazz. Some say that no, everybody should have access to a certain standard of healthcare. And we do have a pretty good healthcare system in Canada. I just don't want to see any of it deteriorating. And whether it's got to do, you know, I'd like to see more talks about things that affect people, like coverage, dental coverage, or coverage for the optometrist's visits that you have to go to. Lord knows I've not seen an eye doctor or an optometrist in ages because it's expensive. So I'm counting on this 2020 to, you know, carry on with me for as long as possible. But Father Time catches up with everybody. But that's the thing. That's why I eat a lot of spinach and stare into the sun for 30 seconds a day because I'm sun gazing. Don't do that. What else do I want to see? So we got housing, we got inflation, wages that what do we do with the wages? Let's definitely talk about that. The schooling system, yeah. What are we doing about the colleges? What are we doing about the universities? What are we doing? And what are we doing with the curriculum? Is anybody talking about the curriculum, what we're teaching our kids, what we should be teaching our kids so that we actually make them ready for society and the real world out there when they turn a certain age? Because, you know, at certain times you need to go ahead and, like, you know, reintroduce some things or get rid of some things and, like, make it so that it's relatable to the times, you know, not something that's not useful to the new generations. So that's something that we'll need the experts to get together and talk about. What other issues do we have in Canada that needs to be discussed right now? Again, one of the biggest ones right now is the mandatory vaccines you'll hear it for different sectors, whether it's healthcare workers or teachers. I've never thought anything should be mandatory. I don't think there is one generic remedy or a recipe for fixing any sort of problem. I think there's a different array of options on the table, and it's just are we willing to, you know, work a little bit to achieve those goals, or do we want the easy answer, or do we want the easy? So nothing comes easy, and I think if we put in a little bit of time and if we put in a little bit of time and thinking, we can definitely come out stronger together. What other issues do I want to be seeing discussed? So we talked about housing, we talked about education, we talked about vaccination and the passports. Yeah, we do definitely need to, like, we need to be more together. We shouldn't be more divided, and we definitely don't need any of this rhetoric of you should do this and buy none of that, guys. Like, let's get out there and actually do something positive, and there's a lot of positive people doing a lot of great things, everybody included. What else needs to be discussed? So since we are having an election, it is important to think about these things. What are we doing with our policing, with our military? I think we should definitely the police departments definitely need a lot more money. The money should go to higher education, higher training, because that's the thing. You want better interactions between the public and the police, and it's a high stress job. It's a high stress level job, so I can't think that any sort of talk regarding will be resolved by just saying, oh, let's defund or reduce their budgets. No, they're already in stress. It's a high stress job. We definitely need the police. We definitely need security. We need better training. We need better recruits, and we need just better people out there doing the job, essentially, and it takes resources. Those are some items that should be talked about. Military, everybody needs a military. It's not like we can't discuss it. You got to be real, all right? You got to get real. You can't not discuss the military. What are we doing with the military? What's our plan? What do we do? I don't know too much about the Canadian military, to be honest with you guys. I've not done too much research on the subject, but we do tend to go on a lot of, we do get to go on, like, missions. We definitely, I had back in the day when I was younger, and I used to be a gym rat and used to, hop from gym to gym. I had a buddy of mine who used to work at one of the gyms, and this fellow was in the Canadian Army, and at one point I remember he got called and he had to go out there. I think he got deployed to either, I think he went to if I'm not mistaken, this was a long time ago. Maybe he went to Iraq. Super nice guy, jacked, really jacked, big fella, really nice dude. Went off to Iraq, and I moved around, he moved around, I never saw him again, but I hope he's well. But just like overall, I do think about these things, because you know, different people need to be doing different things, and that's the military is great, everybody needs a military, but what are we doing in terms of getting the right kinds of people in the right kind of spots? You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want people to go into certain positions just because they have to. You want everybody to be doing the jobs that they like, so that they can genuinely put in the effort and be there willingly, doing good work, and you know, getting proper payments. That's one of the biggest things. What are we doing with the wages for everybody? What are we doing with gig workers? What are we doing with gig workers? Part of my livelihood depends on gig work myself. So that's the thing. What are we doing with making sure that everybody is taken care of? And this is coming from a guy who believes in hard work, who believes in, you know, self-determination, building your own destiny, carving your own path. Well, you do need certain things to be in place from an infrastructure perspective so that people can do it. And we've had this in the past. Canada's been great at accommodating different, you know, when we came out of the world wars, we had to go there, implement a lot of different infrastructures to get people up and running, businesses, different peoples, different groups of people, because you know, we're a very multicultural nation. So you need different sorts of programs helping out everybody, whether it's single parent households, whether it's new immigrants, whether it's different minority groups working together, and just bringing everybody together and uplifting everybody. I think we can do a ton, but I do want to be seeing actual talks and not just political jargon. I don't want to see any of that. And politics is one of those things that's embedded in everything. You can't not discuss politics. It's embedded in everything. So that's why I want to see just more of a realistic and like a human approach to it, as if we can. And I want to be talking a little bit, or I want to be seeing talks rather. Is anybody talking about perhaps getting away from, you know, involving so much of money and politics? Does that make sense? Like defunding politics to a certain degree. I get it, money's required for everything, but all the budgets you guys set out and all the money that's used for campaigns and ads and all this, that, and the other really could be used in a better way. Those are the things that I want to be saying. All in all, things are looking great. Things are looking fantastic. We're moving. Things are shaking and baking. And I'm just out there doing my thing every day, baby. I get up every day early in the morning. Like many of you guys, I'm out there putting in the work. Come in here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday and shoot the shit with you guys. Sometimes we talk about silly shit. Sometimes we talk about, you know, serious issues. Sometimes I'll go out there with the people, spend a little time with the peepsies. And before you know it, hopefully once things ease up a little bit more, once, you know, I'm looking for opportunities. I want to work with people, whoever is in the same, if you're a storyteller, if you're a comic, if you're starting it out, or maybe you've already started out, maybe you have a ton of experience, maybe you like to collaborate in some sort. I'm always eager to learn when it comes to learning, and the field that I'm in, I've got zero ego, because I'm a newbie at this, baby. I'm a newbie at this, and just trying to learn and make it better. That's all I'm trying to do. Love you guys. Thank you for all the love and support. If you like these videos, go ahead and hit those like buttons on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Search Rob Sadri on YouTube so you get the full-length videos. It drops every, again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And if you want to, you know, help your boy out a little bit more, there's always Patreon. Go ahead, talk about it, and pass it around like hotcakes. And we'll be back here again on Wednesday. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Stay safe out there. See y'all soon. Peace out.